To you, cherished viewers, you are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host for today, Ayra Awuno. We're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV, and you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us on social media, particularly on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH, like, share, and subscribe to our pages, and then join in the live stream. Now, here's what to expect on the morning show. As you know, we've been talking about floods for some time now. We're in the rainy season, and obviously the rains have been devastating to some people in our society. And there are conversations around, and even questions around town planning, spatial planning, how to arrange our settlements as we live in the capital. And so we have an official from the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority who will be passing through so that he can educate us on what they do, how they do it, and what we also have to do, the role we have to play. The lifestyle segment is also going to be telling us about how to live a healthy lifestyle in the digital age. Business and sports will be bringing us news and highlights as well. But for now, let's prepare to be motivated for today. Right, as we like to do here, as the weekend also approaches, we need to give ourselves something to ponder upon as we get some rest. And today's quote is by Thomas Edison. He says, "A successful person makes a habit of doing what the failing person does not like to do. A successful person makes a habit of doing what the failing person doesn't like to do." And this is by Thomas Edison. Now, it just says here that success is rarely built on talent alone. It is built on consistent habits. The tasks that lead to growth, waking up early, studying diligently, exercising regularly, saving money, or practicing a skill, are often the very things that people feel the least motivated to do. Those who achieve lasting success understand that feelings are temporary, but results of the disciplined actions accumulate over time. They choose responsibility over comfort because they know today's small sacrifices create tomorrow's opportunities. Discipline is the bridge between the goals and accomplishment. It means doing what is necessary even when it feels inconvenient, difficult, or repetitive. While many wait for motivation before taking action, disciplined individuals act regardless of how they feel. Every time you choose long-term progress over short-term pleasure, you strengthen your character and move one step closer to the life you want. Success is not about enjoying every task. It is about making the right choices consistently, even when they are the hardest. So this is the quote for today. This is what we can also ponder upon as the weekend approaches and, take certain steps in our lives to achieve the life that we want. Now, up next is the weather report by Peter Nsia. So, Peter, I hear you'll be giving us more info. Is there any rain that is about to fall again to devastate?
Right. So for today in Accra, Kaswa, and its environment, this morning, GMET says it's going to be misty, and then in the afternoon we are going to experience slight rain.
Okay.
For the remaining parts of the country, especially the northern region, we are going to experience sunny intervals and a bit rain, and then also the people within the coastal areas and the middle belt are also going to experience some rains, but largely today is kind of sunny.
Okay.
It's kind of sunny, and then in the evening to most parts of the country is going to be mostly cloudy, with the exception of Ketekrache, Atibubu, and Edra that are expecting, they should expect 30% chance of thunderstorm and rain. So basically, this morning, it's mostly cloudy and misty, and then in the afternoon, some parts of the country is going to experience some rain, not as heavy as we used to know. And so today is basically a bit cool,
right?
And so people can actually carry umbrellas or something.
Okay.
Yes, so as usual, as we like to, give you the weather updates and everything, we have some videos from GMET, which actually explains how the weather is going to be like. Let's take a look at it.
Right, so that was the weather report, and Peter was speaking to that just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
If there's more you would like to add, please, because we need to prepare ourselves just in case.
Yes, so basically, as I explained earlier, for the people of Aflao and Logan, Accra should actually expect a 30% chance of rain this morning, this afternoon. And for the remaining parts of the country, like I stated earlier, and from the video we watched, it is going to be misty this morning and mostly cloudy. And the people of Koforidia, Kem, Oda, Kwewutafo, yes, the people of Koforidia and Akim Oda, there's 30% chance of rain this afternoon. And then in the evening, throughout the coastal and the mountainous areas, it's going to be mostly cloudy. With the exception, the people of Kitikrachi and Tebubu and Ejura should also expect 30% chance of rain this evening as well. And then the people of Bole, Damango, Nelerigu, and Drapa, there's 40% chance of rain this evening. They should take note. And then in the afternoon, it's going to be mostly sunny. And so basically, area today the weather looks good.
Thank you so much. So as I like to say, we need to prepare ourselves for the rainy season as we're in it. We need to be strapped with an umbrella or a raincoat, and those of us who have vehicles, let us extend a helping hand whenever we can. And let's also make sure to be at safe vantage points as and when the weather starts to change. It is imperative that we protect ourselves in such times. So, yes, moving on, we're coming to our word of the day and getting to do our salutations. These days, I haven't been very good at that. So, yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. I hope you're well.
Up and great.
Divine selection.
A chance to right your wrongs, isn't it?
Exactly. And because we've been using the word up and grateful every day, let me give a shout out to Nanaya Osari. He's actually,
It's actually been missed on the show.
He will return soon. Right. Okay, so what are the plans for the weekend ahead? What's up? Picking up news and our rests. Jams.
Rest and some small entertainment here and there, and some live band be somewhere wouldn't be bad.
Okay.
And also this weekend, the World Cup is actually coming to an end. By Sunday, they'll be playing the finals. And yesterday we saw what actually transpired between Argentina and the Three Lions. Unfortunately, the Three Lions were beaten mercilessly, and so Argentina is going to play with Spain for the finals, and then France and England will also at the back there for third and actually fourth. And so Saturday, I think Friday or Saturday and Sunday is going to be a happy moment for football fans as we bring to an end the whole World Cup, celebrations. And so I'm looking forward to that as well.
So which teams are you supporting since you are still watching?
Right now, anything can happen. With the finals, anything, Spain and Argentina, anything can happen. But then if Argentina wins, it's going to be back-to-back because 4 years ago, they won it, and then this year. And then one thing is that those teams have not actually met. It's going to be their first time.
Oh, okay.
The first time they even met in World Cups was somewhere in 1966. It was group stages where actually Spain I think Argentina won by 2-1. So this is going to be historic. And then for Lamine Yamal and Messi, it's going to be like father and son actually competing for the same glory. So it promises to be exciting. But yesterday I wasn't happy, even though I was here fighting for Ghana to actually colonize our colonial masters. But I was hoping that actually they will
colonize somebody else.
But it was unfortunate.
Well, we wish the teams that are playing all the best. They should carry. Ghana is home, so some of us, we are no longer. We were hardly even paying attention anyway. But kudos to all the teams that made it all the way to the finals, and we wish them the very best. So, Beverly, what's up with you?
This weekend, it's been back to back. The stress is real.
Oh my God.
Adulthood.
Well,
adulthood. But I'm just happy that the World Cup has finally come to an end. And then people will go back to their homes. People will go back to their wives.
Okay.
Because yesterday, I actually picked a ride home. And the way the man was saying, I don't want to go home. I'm just wondering how the wife and kids are feeling at home. Please go back to your homes, okay?
All right. Well, moving quickly into the word for today. The word for today is ineffable. The word for the day is ineffable. And ineffable simply means too great, intense, or extraordinary to be expressed in words. So when you expand the meaning, it's something that's too great, extreme, beautiful, or profound to be expressed or described adequately in words. So that's the word ineffable. And the words that are similar in meaning to the word ineffable, we have indescribable, inexpressible, unutterable, unspeakable, beyond words, sublime, transcendent, unfathomable, matchless, and exquisite in certain contexts. And then the words that are opposite in meaning to the word ineffable, that is, if something is not ineffable, then it is expressible, it is describable, articulable, explainable, definable, ordinary, commonplace, clear, understandable, and mundane. Now, a quick tip for us is that ineffable is often used to describe emotions, beauty, spiritual experiences, joy, awe, sorrow, and other words like that feel so profound that they cannot be fully captured in words. So the word for the day is ineffable. We hope to hear you use some of these words when you call us, or even when you send us messages. Want to see these words in your vocabulary so we know you watch the Koko Digest morning show. And my colleagues here, I'm sure Peter will be giving us the etymologies shortly.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate. Today we don't really have time, but I'll just form a sentence with it. You know, when I came to Clock TV first, the ineffable beauty of the studio actually overwhelmed me. So our viewers watching us, if you've not been here before, you can come and have a look at here. We have very beautiful things here. And I mean, you can just imagine my first time being here and the beauty, I couldn't express it. You understand?
Beautiful, lovely.
Oh, so I want to form a sentence based on what the word of the day means. Ineffable. I can say that the love people have for football is ineffable because it's serious. It's extraordinary.
It's too
it's
much.
beyond my understanding.
Yes.
You get it?
Right.
They're scoring people where the people are still supporting teams
Yes.
like unexpectedly.
Yes, it's resilience. Well, that's the word for the day. My colleagues have used it in a sentence so we can get a fair idea of how to use it. So let's incorporate it into our vocabulary. Now, quickly into the trends. What I have here is the most pressing issue, at least for me personally, and is the fact that the finance minister is set to present the mid-year budget review on July 23.
Yes.
And considering the things that have been going on, I mean, I think we are due, some information as to what exactly is going on.
Yes.
And this one, the business segments, you are the one who will be best equipped to shed some light on that for us.
Definitely, as we will definitely have some experts on board to give us more details about what is actually transpiring and the expectations, what we should expect as well. And then after the budget reading too, we would have, analysts, analyzing whatever actually transpired. And then yesterday someone was asking me, every day we have national budget, we have mid-year budget, the economy, what does it actually entail and all of that. And so this morning I just want to spend some small time and to actually break it down. So when we say the economy of Ghana and what the national budget actually entails. When we say the economy of Ghana, we mean everything that produces, buys, and sells value in our country. And so it's like the big engine that is made up of three main parts. And then we have the services sector, which is actually the biggest, which is about 47%. And then it entails banking, it entails telecom, shops, transport, tourism, schools, and hospitals. Then we also have the industry, which is about 31% of the entire economy, which also entails the mining, that is gold and oil. We have factories, we have construction and electricity. Then we have agriculture, which is about 22%, which also entails farming, fishing, cocoa, food production. It also entails jobs, the strength of the cedi, taxes, government spending, and how we trade with other countries. And so basically a healthy economy means more jobs, stable prices, growing businesses, and better lives for families. And the main measure is the GDP growth. And this is to tell us how much bigger the whole economy is getting. And so let me now come to what the national budget actually entails. And so the national budget is the government yearly money plan. It shows how much money they expect to collect, mainly from taxes.
Okay.
And we've been seeing the GRA and the Hems of Affairs of Taxes and what have you, implementing policies and many more. And then how they plan to spend it on roads, on schools, salaries, hospitals, and the likes. And then it also entails the target for growth, that is inflation, jobs, and debt. And so let's take the 2026 national budget into consideration. The theme for it was resetting for growth, jobs, and economic transformation. And it is a plan to move from fixing past problems to creating real progress. Before 2025, we saw the crisis that we were facing with regards to the COVID-19 and many others, where we saw the inflation rising to some, unimaginable rates.
Rates.
Yes. And so this mid-year review on July 23 checks how that plan is working in the first 6 months and makes any needed changes. So the national budget is the whole plan for the whole year. And so the mid-year budget is just a review. What's the country actually set to achieve? Maybe for the whole year, they wanted to achieve, let's say, 5.5% growth of GDP. This amount they are expecting in revenue, and this is the amount they are looking forward to actually spend. So this mid-year budget actually tells us our spending so far, what we've been able to achieve at half of the year.
Okay.
Yes, and that is basically that. So let's now take a look at the economy, how the economy is doing so far, the actual figures, and the plans that we had in the national, budget. So in terms of economic growth, the original 2026 budget targeted about 4.8% to 5% growth for the whole year. But the good news is that in the first quarter of 2026, that is 3 months from January, February, March, the economy grew by 6.4%. That is stronger than expected and better than the same period last year. So the same period last year, 2025. Here we are having the economy growing by 6.4%. Last year, this figure is much, much better than it. And so it is a good news for us. And then this actually shows that service, industry, mining, and the rest are also helping the engine grow faster. I made mention of 3 points that made up of the economy, the service, agriculture, and one other thing. And so moving on July 23, we expect to hear from the finance minister as to whether they are going to raise the full year target to maybe 5.5% or higher, or expect a slowdown in the second half of the year. Currently, the global, crisis is still ongoing, and it has an impact on the economy largely in terms of the exchange rate, in terms of fuel prices, inflation, and what have you. So this coming Thursday, we expect to hear something from the finance minister as well. And then when you take a look at inflation as well, we are looking at what the government planned and the actual figures, what we have right now. So the plan was to keep inflation around 8% plus or minus 2. But the latest figure in June 2026, inflation rose from 5.3% up from 3.7% in May. So currently the inflation is around 5.3. Yes, and so this is much lower as compared to the past, somewhere 2024, 2025 thereabout. It's much.
Okay, so before you continue, I think I have a question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as we've been conversing here about some of the issues, and even you especially, you've been reiterating that sometimes the payments of certain salaries and allowances and all of that are due to budget constraints. Yeah. So, is there a likelihood that there will be some reviews in that area too, with health, education, and all the others, especially these two? We tend to hear more of these strikes and conditions of service issues all the time. So do you think
right? Yes,
it's
you
possible?
know. So
Plus, okay, so the last part of my question would also be for the fact that there was some amount of money that was disbursed for the contingency fund or something with regards to the flood victims and all of that. So what would be the impact on our current economy and all the financial issues? You know the terms.
So that is the more reason why every half of the year you have a review of the plan, and most government do not want to spend outside the budget. Like I stated earlier, maybe throughout the year they have an amount they want to spend, and we come to that, the amount they want to spend for the whole year. And so spending outside the budget becomes something. That is why sometimes you see workers agitating and many others, calling for some, and they will tell you it wasn't part of the budget, and so they would have to
them.
wait.
I mean,
and yes, basically,
so, what happens,
so they have something to achieve.
What happens if they go beyond the budget? Let's say they plan that mid-year they have a certain amounts to be allocated to certain sectors, and they go overboard. What happens?
I mean, it creates a whole lot of mess, and there are some technical words. I mean, that is why, in this regard, it is the Ministry of Finance and Bank of Ghana that comes together. So before the year comes to an end, they sit down, they do the calculation, and I know they add extra. But then when it becomes too much, that is where the problems actually lies. We have to service our debts and a whole lot of things, coming into play. And so if unexpectedly they take some huge amount which was not budgeted for out of what has been budgeted for to do something else, it creates a whole lot of, mess. But I know the expert will be in a better position to give us the analysis on that.
But then, honestly, I have a question. I don't know whether this is the right time, but then you continue.
Right.
Well, you mentioned the fact that they sit down to do these things. So how is it that they don't, I mean, you are sitting down to draw a budget for the nation for a period of time. Why then is it that when workers are saying one thing or the other, you tell us it wasn't part of the budget? Did you not consider the fact that inflation rates and fuel prices and all these global issues that affect our economy will play a role on the average Ghanaian's pockets too? So,
but they've been considering that, but the magnitude of it, you understand? These are some of these things are unforeseen, that you can't see.
Unforeseen?
Yes, there are things that we expect them. But as in how they are going to come, the magnitude of it. Let's say, you see, with this flood, some amount of money was allocated for the, prevention of flood, for, those things. But here lies the case, what we experienced this year is far beyond what we've been experiencing in the years. And so there has been the need to adapt to ensure that they're able to, clean up the mess. You understand? So some of the things, they are unforeseen, and some of the things are inevitable. With that, they make account for that. But some of the things that we don't see, and then out of the blues, it comes. They also adjust. They have ways of, actually doing that. But then if it becomes too much, and that's why, politics and, governance becomes something, difficult to actually deal with. When there is politics, we change our government every 4 years. And then if you are not fortunate and you're not able to spend 8 years and you are going out 4 years, before any government goes out, they kind of, put measures in place, trying to employ more people without thinking about,
soldiers.
You understand? So when the new government comes in, it would now have to sit down and try to. That's why when new government comes, we see that some workers are being laid off and a whole lot of... But we are not being truthful to ourselves, you understand, because of politics. And so a whole lot comes to play in terms of this budget, taking care of the economy and what have you.
And this year too, a lot of things have happened. We had to go to South Africa and, evacuate people.
Yes.
Yeah, and those were definitely unforeseen.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I mean, coming
from the little we learned through life and maybe one or two people educating us, when you're drawing a budget, there is an allocation for miscellaneous costs, which are unforeseen events. So, yes, but I think the rest of my questions may seem a bit too... I think I need to catch somebody in France for you. But then again, I think I would like you to also shed some light on the whole IMF, PCI things. I think all those terminologies about the bailouts and,
Sure.
Yes, the grants.
Yeah, so that is the reason why it's very imperative that at the at the end of like every first quarter of the year, we have the finance minister to actually address us. And so basically, we are also expecting some information with regards to IMF bailout and the new PCI, the policy coordination instrument, how far it's going, and also information about our debt restructuring. Recently, we heard that the government of Ghana has actually paid $700 million as Eurobond debts and what have you. And recently, we saw that they've made some settlement. And so the finance minister will give us up to date how our debt restructuring program is, where it has gotten to, and how much debt we owe right now, how we are going to service those debts, and then the new PCI, how it is going to be like. And so we are expecting a whole lot from the finance minister coming Thursday. And then secondly, when we look at inflation, that is how fast prices are rising. The plan was to keep inflation around 8% plus or minus. I think I've made mention of that. But currently it is 3.7. And so moving on, in terms of revenue and then spending, revenue, the money coming in, that is the money we are receiving out of tax and whatever, and then the amount we are spending. The 2026 budget plan for a total revenue around 268 billion Ghana cedis for the full year. This is the amount the bank, the finance ministry or the economy actually budgeted from taxes and other places. 268 billion Ghana cedis.
Well, but because of time and the other issue we need to discuss, I think that we would wait for the budget review. The business segment will take us through it into detail, and then we can ask our questions. So best believe I'll be sending my questions.
Exactly. But then I would want you to give me just 2 minutes, just two seconds to actually just wrap up on this one. And I made mention of our debt servicing, debt situation. I made mention of IMF bailout, and so we are looking forward to that as well. And then key programs, we are also looking out for key programs as well, especially the 24-hour economy. We know that 110 million Ghana cedis was set aside to let businesses operate day and night. We've not actually seen anything, so we are looking forward for government to actually tell us something. And then the big push infrastructure as well. And so I can say generally for now, the first quarter of 2026, the economy is it's in a good shape, but inflation keeps on, and that is as a result of transport and food, I mean, those things. And so we are looking forward to the finance ministry telling us the steps that they are going to put in place to ensure that it comes down, so that you and I can get some monies in our pocket, and you and I, the money that we have, it can buy Niema Bebree. Right.
Thank you so much. So the next thing we'll discuss is the fact that parents have been warned that giving their underage children, under 18-year-olds, their cars could lead to jail terms. And so, yes, we have a video of the inspector, giving a public service announcement, so to say, trying to admonish parents to desist from such acts of giving their children who are under 18 cars to drive. So let's take a look.
One, Mama any 18 years now with the car show on some now driver no. More careful. Oba any 18 years car ofie, sika ofie, and now the car mano. May catch now plane. I'm a player fat. Says Oba the car kunya accident. Ana uti anye no the kobo bi no owua. Say jail no kwa. O papa na ma me na the car man no. Also ko the same jail. Hey. Sabe pepe. Entino awofo na modeka ama mama na omu ni driver's license no. Na omu nya 18 years no. Me tumofo. Imagine say wotifie na wo ba any license ana onya 18 years. Na e be fra waka cho so the car ko bo obi na wawu. Eye wa wasema. Yentie de emrareka. LI 2180 regulation 42. I say a person shall not authorize, order, consent, or knowingly permit the operation of a motor vehicle owned by the person or under that person's control by another person when that person has knowledge that that other person has no legal right to do so. LI 2180 regulation 42. Enti mi no Ghana for and achieve down for. Mesremo Yama can move into the Babuay. Yam Pesse, Ubakonyasam, now the Baba. Now I ask the police for the 3 more days. And now Unim, and then Makacho, Wati. Mama in this.
Subscribe. Right, so that was a video, and I think when I saw this video on social media, one of the recurrent responses to it I saw was the fact that we had a situation like that where the son of a renowned man of God here in the country was driving, speeding, and ended up taking the lives of 2 people. And people were asking that what has come of that issue, because that issue would have been a perfect example to let people know that there are consequences to your actions. So I think even people were saying that maybe because he's a renowned man of God, there are certain things that will not apply to him and all of that. But then again, we are taught that nobody's above the law. So in this case, certain people do not particularly want to adhere to what the policeman was saying or want to take them serious, because we had a clear issue that would have been the best example to everybody, and yet I think I would like to hear from you too.
Yes. Me, I have a problem with this one because I've been saying it. We react to issues rather than solving it. This, what he said, in as much as it's a good piece of information out there to caution, parents, let me say, those who are well-to-do in family, that actually gives, yes, we see them driving. But for the fact that he would say that unless if the person kills someone, if there's an accident, that's where they are going to hold you responsible. I think that it is not the right thing to say, because we have preventive measures. He made mention of the regulation 42 LI 2180 regulation 42, which states it is illegal to knowingly permit an unlicensed person to operate your vehicle at any time. So legally, police can pull over and arrest an underage driver and charge parent immediately, even if no one is hurt. So that is exactly what he said. But for him to say that if you don't check, naso or the car kobobia naso okuku obi answer, you should let the people know that you even giving him the car, the permission to even take, is illegal for the first place. Onu osi kwansono is illegal. Talk less of going to kill someone, and so we should pay attention to this thing very carefully. And so I think that there's been an enforcement, bias over here. And then under regulation, that same regulation 42, a parent is only guilty if they knowingly authorize or order or consent to minor driving. So I think we will need a legal expert here. In as much, so let's assume that I'm under 18 years, I don't even have license. I know how to drive, and I pick my dad's car key and go out. And something happens. The law is saying that, let me just read. A parent is only guilty if they knowingly authorized, ordered, or consent to the minor driving. So when I take it out and my parents are not aware and I go and cause problem out there and it becomes an issue, the person can defend him or herself like this. I'm not aware. I didn't order. I didn't authorize him to do that.
The argument that you left car keys, at vantage points for them to have access to. So you may be implicit or complicit, because if you have minors at home, just like when we have toddlers, you keep the knives away, keep baby-proof the place and all of that. And now this issue is up, and you have minors at home. Yes, you've trained them to learn how to drive, all of that, and you've left the car keys on the dining table. And
I think the driving itself has to be at a legal age, like
yes, we have that information here.
At a legal age. So why do parents continue to train them or teach them how to drive at that age? Because if you are teaching them at that age, under age, definitely it could be that once a time you are not around, they might want to explore with the car, and that will pose serious danger on someone walking on the streets.
Okay, so quickly. The minimum age to obtain a driver's license in Ghana for a private vehicle is 18 years. And this applies to a learner's license for Class A, that's motorcycles, and Class B, private cars. So you must be at least 18, you must have a valid Ghana card, pass eye test and medical assessment, complete training at a certified driving school, and pass both the theory and practical tests. Now, for vehicle categories, the minimum ages are higher. So for agricultural tractors, you need to be at least 21 years. And then for commercial and heavy duty vehicles, you need to be at least 25 years. So let's take note and, act accordingly. Apparently, we have one more issue before we get into the lifestyle segment.
Right.
Yes.
I think we have to revisit this
yes, we
this
will.
issue
we
again
will have
because
to.
yes. Yes, I mean, it's a good news, and that we are looking beyond tourism, and so what it means is that so those kids that are outside, born to Ghanaian parents, but they've never been to Ghana before. What the government of Ghana is saying is that instead of they coming for dirty December for 2 days, 3 days, holidays, before they go to universities, there's a long summer break that is 2 months. They want them to use that 2 months they come to Ghana and learn, get themselves acquainted with their culture and whatever. So it is going to be a 2 months national service, and they'll be working in local clinics, tech startups, and other industries. And this has raised a whole lot of concerns that even with the national service, the local national service here, graduates are not receiving their allowances on time.
It's a
whole lot. And for you to talk about incorporating this into the system now, in terms of there's financial constraint from the UK, US to whatever country, Europe, Germany to Ghana, the amount, the flight, the ticket alone, and then when they come to accommodation, what are the measures in place? And so there has been a whole lot of conversation, going on. But like I stated earlier, in terms of our culture and getting them to understand who they are and where they are coming from, it's a good thing. But the implementation is what is going to be a problem. And so people are saying that, look, in as much as it's a good, initiative, solve the local issue first. But then we are not the only African country having this. Rwanda is having it. Nigeria is also doing it. Where Nigeria, if you were born outside, you are done with school and you want to work and live in Nigeria, you have to do your mandatory 1 year NYC. And that is below 30 years. You will just do it. But here in our case, even before you go to university, there are two months summer break. You have to come to Ghana. And also raise the question about it has been defined as if each country has the same summer break. I think UK will be different from Germany. US will be different from other
the school
countries.
Systems, I think there's just a small difference in the number of days so like even before COVID, the universities, they all vacate around the same time because that's how the academic calendar had been arranged. So the differences may not be so vast. But one question I was also thinking about was the fact that somebody born in the diaspora, knowing the state of the motherland and all of that, probably already feels like they're at an advantage over, people back home. And so they may not necessarily feel the need to want to overly get involved in anything here, because even we are suffering from brain drain. We've been talking about brain drain since from the where I can remember upper primary school in social studies. We've been saying we have this issue of brain drain because even the people here, immediately they get the chance to leave the country, they take it and never look back. So now these people who are now in the diaspora, who are aware of some of the structural issues here, how are we going to make this attractive enough for them to also want to look at career advancement and think of the motherland that, okay, when I get to this position in life and whatnot, achieve these things, I want to help my nation.
Right. If it is being implemented well, instead of brain drain, it is going to be brain gain.
Okay.
Yeah. So, these people are young. They are now moving to the universities. If, like I said, if it is being implemented well and they come and they get access to the, local setups, they get acquainted they understand, they speak their language more, and they go back right after school, they'll be thinking that, maybe there's an investment opportunity down in my country. That kind of collaboration will be there. Instead of...
I was also thinking, 2 months, is he really enough? And like Peter said earlier, we have actually employment and putting people in, some of the companies to do their national service. And it's even a problem. We are not even done solving
Even people who are posted to the rural areas don't want to go because of how terrible the conditions of service are. Now somebody coming from a first or second world country into a third world country, do you really think they would want? Well, I mean, it's still open to discussion, and there are certain things that need to be reviewed when it comes to that. And unfortunately, we can't continue much of this conversation, so we'll continue this on Tuesday. Up next is the lifestyle segment, where we're going to be learning about how to maintain a healthy lifestyle in this digital age. So we need to get up from our beds and stop bed rotting and doom scrolling and be active. Let's do something with our bodies. So let's stay tuned as Bevelyn and her guests come up shortly.
Back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. This is Lifestyle on the show. This morning we are discussing something very important that has become very part of our daily lives. This morning we are talking fitness, and as you saw earlier, was a content creation from our guest today on the show. He is a fitness enthusiast and also a content creator. This morning, Raj is here with us in the studio to talk to us about basic lifestyle, fitness, so anything. If you've been wanting to go to the gym, learn about some basic lifestyle things, just to upgrade your system, just to make you fit, because these days you've been seeing so many fitness challenges and all of that on social media. Everywhere you go, they're everywhere, especially a lot of the youth. You don't see the old people as compared to the olden days. These days, anybody at all can just go to the gym and then practice or to get their bodies in check. Raj, you're welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much.
Hope you are doing well.
Doing very well.
Fits as usual. Well, as like I said earlier, these days, what makes it common? Because out of 90% of social media trends or what comes to your algorithms are basically body checks, fitness, and all of that. What has changed over the years?
Well, I feel like now people are being more aware of what is happening. Because, when I started this, I think 4 years ago, people were not really into it. I would bring my camera into the gym and try to film and post it to motivate people. And then some people will be laughing like, what's this guy doing? But I feel like right now, when you look at some of the things we eat, the lifestyle we are living, people are being aware that, like, for example, those who work 9 to 5, you go, you sit in the office from 9 to 5, you don't do anything, you don't move your body. Then it comes with some health complications.
It's like you're going far. Raj wants to run this morning. Please, you're not on the streets. You are in our studios. Okay. So let's take it. Let's build it. Okay. As we get there. Right. But then, are people really doing or training for fitness actually, or they're just doing it for the cameras? People just want to do things for trends. Okay. And I like the fact that you're also a content creator as well. You are doing the fitness and you're also showing people how to go about it or what to keep them in shape. Are people doing it for confidence, for appearance, or just for social media trends?
Well, I feel like a trend that requires you to live a healthy lifestyle is not a bad trend.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
Right.
And, well, you can talk about how people want to do it for trend, post it, and like get people to see. I think it's not a bad thing, in my opinion. People are not really doing it. They are doing it for the trend, but if you are doing it for trend, and at the end of the day, it benefits you as the individual, I think that's a very solid trend, in my opinion.
Right. So beyond looking good, what real benefits can people expect when they make fitness a part of their lifestyle? What are some of the benefits that they can, get from it? And I like the point where you say that, yes, it can be for the trends, but if it's to make them keep fit or be in check, let's go for it.
Okay.
Right.
One of the reasons, I've seen how people treat people that are fit, and I've seen how people treat people that are not fit. So let's see.
How is the treatment?
When I wasn't like this, the treatment was different from when I'm like this.
Were you chubby?
No, I was very slim.
Okay.
Like very, very, very slim, lean. So I would walk in, it would be like.
So which one makes you get fit? Maybe early. The the outcome comes very fast. Is it when you are chubby or when you are slim?
I feel like when you are chubby, it's like a cheat code for me, in my opinion, because I feel like losing weight is easier, in my opinion, than building muscle.
Okay, what makes it easier?
It's like when you are tearing down a building, it's very easy to tear it down, but when you are building it, it takes a lot
from
of
the
time.
Foundation.
Yes, it takes a lot of time. So, when you talk about the confidence it gives you, it's like it's crazy because people look at you and be like, wow, it must have taken a lot of time for this guy
to get to.
Yes, he has put in the work. So I mean, people accord you with a level of respect.
Right.
I mean, it gives you chance to be able to sit in rooms with people that, or train with people that you don't even know. Because there are some people that, there was this time I was working out with one of my friends. I didn't even know. He's not my friend, but he was the owner of a very popular restaurant.
Okay.
And I mean, that's the advantage of entering into spaces like this, because people like that accord people that lift or that always show up to the gym with respect, because they understand the discipline that goes into working out here.
Right. So how you've not answered my first question. I was asking about what are some of the health benefits people, apart from people treating them nice, and it's helping them build their confidence as well. Because when you are confident in your body, you are able to, shine wherever you go. It's a major benefit. But when it comes to the health benefits, what are some of the benefits that people get from, doing fitness, courses?
Okay, personally, me, per se, I haven't been to the hospital like 4 years.
Oh.
I don't even remember the last time I've been to the hospital. The last time I was sick was like malaria, which that one year you can't really control it. But
Raj, which of the diseases can you control?
Oh, like maybe blood pressure. There are some things that you can do to like check your blood pressure.
Right. But you do go for screenings.
Yeah, sometimes I do check once in a while. Yeah, and you go to the hospital and doctors will recommend that, you can try to walk early in the morning just to try and just check some of these diseases that are easily preventable. Because sometimes when you walk or when you run or when you work out, it pumps a lot of blood into your system. You understand? And when the body is working like that, it helps you, makes your the immune system stronger and helps keep you very, very healthy.
Right. In fact, you look healthy and you are 20 years.
No, I'm not 20.
You look strong and healthy, though. I know what you did there, but then many people say that exercising helps them mentally, their mental well-being. How important is fitness for reducing stress and improving their mental? I know a lot of people say that, I want to go to the gym because it helps me, focus. It helps me stay on guard. How true is that?
I think it's very, very true, 100%. But when I started working out in 2022, I was going through like a very, very tough time. Like it was rough for me. But anytime I step into the gym and have a good workout session, it's like everything just vanishes. You understand? But then I'll go back home, think about it. But anytime I step in there, it just helps me because you get to talk to people, you work out, you see the pump, the dopamine, it shoots into your brain like, I have to keep on going and going and going and going and going. So it's very, very important when it comes to mental health because even aside the pump, you meet somebody that you trust in the gym. You can meet people that you trust in the gym. You talk to them. Everybody's willing to help because they know that it's a place that people come to, let's say, fix themselves.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the right word. Because if you are trying to lose weight, you are trying to fix yourself.
Right.
If you are trying to build muscle, you are trying to fix something. Not that you are broken, but you're just building something. Let me just use that word. Yeah, so I think it helps a lot in mental health.
But does it work for everybody? I asked this question because there are 5 to 9s, okay? There are 5 to 9 workers. Or is it 5 to 6?
9 to 5.
9 to There are 95 workers, okay, and sometimes the stress level is too much, okay. It's too much. Sometimes they don't even get that kind of time to go to the gym.
Yeah.
So how I know I've tried to gym or I've tried to go to the gym for a few times, and after the first day, I'm not able to go back again.
Yeah.
Because of I don't know whether because I'm already stressed, and instead I see the gym too to be another stress on its own. So how what's the link between it helping you mentally? Because if I'm stressed, how will I be able to gym and then put me in shape as well?
No, I feel like people when you want to start, people don't approach it right. You understand? It's just like the way you come to work and you know what to do. When you come to work, you know you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do that.
Exactly.
But some people go to the gym and they want to do everything at once. And when you do that, you're adding more stress to what you're already experiencing. Because after a good workout, you're supposed to feel good when you leave the gym. So I'm even planning to do a video on a beginner's guide to the gym.
Okay, the video. Let's take a look at the video. We'll be right back. Let's look at the video.
This my life, I didn't choose. I just put my all behind. Take me wherever you want to. My invisible black wings flying intercontinental. Victory, victory, that's my story. 'Cause I never surrender as long as I can remember. I've been a hustler. Victory, victory, that's my story. 'Cause I never surrender as long as I can remember. I've been a hustler.
For a very long time, I have been searching for a place where strength isn't just built, it's respected. I wasn't sure I would find it, but I think I finally have.
Ambassadorial deal kind of something.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. But I love the whole idea of the content creation. But then we see is the perfection on social media. When the person is starting, you see them taking videos, they put it out there. All of a sudden, boom! Then we see their muscles. We see, the Coca-Cola shapes and all of that. But what do you think viewers or people are not seeing from the videos that we see online, the perfection? What don't we see?
I think they don't see the patience it takes. Because sometimes, like when I started, I'll come back. Every day I'll look in the mirror. Child, I'm not seeing any improvement. Every day I'll look in the mirror. But one thing that also helped me was that I was documenting the process every single day.
Okay.
And putting it on social media. So my day ones know that this is where I started from and this is where I am now. So they understand the process. But not everyone sees that. So that's why I've built my page in such a way that you should be able to go back and see that it's not just that it's there. I started from somewhere.
Yeah, before you.
And I'm here now. So you have to learn the art of patience. When you're doing this, you have to really learn to be patient. Even the videos, sometimes you sit down, you're editing mental breakdowns, Charlie.
So is it like an everyday workout section for you to get to this particular point? Like every day you have to go to the gym.
Yeah,
every day you have to work out.
I was training 5 times a week.
5 times a week.
Yeah.
There are people to do 3 days in a week. Some people will tell you, I go to the gym 2 days, I do some kind of joggings, I do certain things. So it's not like necessarily like one training that get to that particular stage, or we are supposed to do what works for us?
It depends on what you are looking for. There are some people that they are bodybuilders, they are powerlifters, they are runners. Everybody and what he is training for. Me, like this, I was training for the body. So I was going there 5 times, and there's a structure to how I train. You understand? If you want the structure, you have to see me in Chambers, and I'll give you the structure. Yeah.
Sure, you don't want to give us some small clues.
As a bodybuilder, there's a way you train. As a powerlifter, the powerlifters are those that are training for strength. They are trying to lift as heavy as they can. The bodybuilders are those that are trying to get the most aesthetically pleasing body.
Okay.
And then
so which one is hard? Which one is the hardest one?
Oh, they're all hard. Because I've trained like a powerlifter before, but it wasn't that structured, so I got hit. So right now, I'm not really training for strength, but they are very difficult. Because at the end of the day, there's something called progressive overload.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets to a point where maybe you are lifting 50 kg, it gets lighter, you have to increase. And in increasing, it doesn't get easy. It gets harder. So they are all difficult.
Because honestly, sometimes you see some of the training sections and me watching people on social media. You know, we are discussing fitness in this digital age.
Yeah.
You know, you see it and sometimes it discourages you. Say, what do you mean to me, yo? I can't. You see some and it discourages you. You see some too, and you would want to, do it. So where do you think do you think social media motivates people more than it encourages them?
Let me tell you something. There's this guy that I watched, Coach Blue, when I was training, when I started. And every time I would see Coach Blue do something crazy, something extraordinary, I'd be like, no, I have to do what this guy is doing.
Even the number one, you're not seeing top. Now they have crazy ones.
I'm just saying that's me. I have to be able to do what this guy is doing. If he is doing it, why can't I do it? You understand? So anytime I enter the gym, I enter with the mindset that I'm the strongest person there, and no weight should be able to beat me. If I try and I fail, I'll come back again. That's the mentality that everyone should have in their head. You are not supposed to get it right, or it's not supposed to feel easy when you start. You understand? It's going to be hard. I always tell you that it's going to be hard. But what makes it worth it is the mentality.
Right. I have a question. I have a question because people post the perfections. You see, they'll be posting the ones that are not hard. Meanwhile, behind the scenes now, you are not posting online. That's the hardest part that will get you where you want to go, or the perfection that you want to do. But we don't see those hard parts.
In that case, me.
Do you get it?
Myself,
we don't see those hard parts.
I get you.
Yeah.
Myself, I've tried to post. Yeah, I try to post that. Sometimes I don't get it at once like that. Actually, there was this time I was trying to set a new PR. PR means personal record.
Right.
I was benching 100. I was trying to move to 120. I tried and I failed. You understand? To give the people the impression that it's not like when I started. I started doing 120.
Exactly.
I started from somewhere to somewhere. So it's all about the mentality. You should know that it's not easy. But what makes you different from the rest? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. What makes you different from the rest is showing up every day and getting better every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So some people also compare themselves. Like I said, you see because you see the perfections, you see these influencers, and then you are being tempted to compare. Oh, what I'm doing doesn't match with what this particular person is doing. So I'm asking, how can people also protect themselves from unhealthy comparisons and then move at their own pace? Do you get it?
I like that you brought this up. Even me myself, I suffer from that. There's something called body dysmorphia. You are when you see me now, you feel like, oh, this guy is fit. It's okay. Yeah. But to me, when I enter the gym, I'll see somebody's body and I'll be like, hey, Charlie.
Does it have to do with us as human beings?
No,
because
I feel like they are even trying to, body dysmorphia, they are trying to classify it as a disease, but I don't think it's a disease. I feel like it's human nature.
Yeah,
you have to know that once you are doing it every day to get better, you are getting better every single day. And it gets to a point, it will be like you just close your eyes and open and be like, wow, this is me today. So you just have to lock in and block the noise. If possible, just pick one person that you look up to and be like, I want to be like this person. Don't be looking at like a lot of people.
Right.
I want to be like this person. And then once you work to achieve, or once you work and get to that point, be like, okay, now I think I can watch and still not get influenced. Because when you look at me, I'm not the biggest fitness influencer.
But
in terms of size.
Aspiring, you get it.
No, in terms of size.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fitness influencer. But then I still motivate people. Because they'll be like, okay, I want to be like Raj. I like the way your body did. That's what you should be looking for.
Is it realistic to see somebody and say, I want to be exactly like this particular person? Because I feel like we all have like different body types and sizes and all of that.
It's possible, but sometimes there are a lot of factors. How hard you train, genetics and all that.
Right.
But you still see results.
Okay.
And once you understand that everyone is different, and also there are some people that use medicines and all that. So you also have to consider that.
Is it healthy?
Steroids, no.
Okay.
There are advantages and there are disadvantages. Okay. But the disadvantages.
So what are the advantages of using
steroids?
Okay.
You get bigger in size. But then I don't know if you've heard certain news that young bodybuilder passed away because his heart failed him. You know, when you are building the body with the steroids like that, you don't build the heart. So the heart is not strong enough to support what you are building, the size you are building. So at the end of the day, it's like forcing to pump, and then you put pressure on your heart.
Have you ever been in such situation that you were exercising or you're getting fit and you passed out or something?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever trained somebody that's passed out?
Normally the beginners, because they are not used to it.
You've
they didn't pass out.
That before?
No, they didn't pass out. They'll be like, hey, Charlie, I don't go fit too. But they are not used to it. Even sometimes.
So do you keep pressuring them when they say, I know fit?
Oh, no, I thought you take your time.
Okay.
For me, it's very important. I don't think everyone is like me. So I always tell people to
Exactly. Not everyone is like
so you. Because even when I started, even right now, if I go to play football, I would struggle because I'm not used to it. But a professional footballer would definitely be better than me. So you have to take your time and let them ease into it. You understand? Yeah.
Right. So how important is authenticity? I'm saying this because of our subject of discussion. Yeah. How important is authenticity, especially to the content creators who are also, fitness coaches as well, because they show us what we want to see. Like you said, people say we are showing them what they want to see, just for the flow-ups and crowd and all of that. But how important when it comes to authenticity?
I feel like it's very, very important for you to stand out, because there are a lot of people doing fitness in Ghana, but for me, like this, when you talk about fitness, especially on Twitter, they'll be like, Raj is what comes to mind because of the way that I do my content. I'm not just trying to put the content out there. I'm trying to get you to like take something away from the content. And like, let's say Ashton Hall like this, he developed a unique way of doing content where he posts his daily routine. Then they were doing dumbbells like a lot. And then you get like some creators like hopping on the trend. But at the end of the day, because they are not that authentic, when you see that content, it's still Ashton Hall that comes to mind. You understand? So being unique is very, very important. Being authentic in your craft is very, very important. So you stand out from the rest.
Raj, now I want to ask a question, because many young people that are, yes, they have the motivation to, get their bodies in check, but they get intimidated when they get to the gym. Someone like me. What advice do you have for us?
Why do you feel intimidated?
Well, you go and you see bodybuilders, people who are built, and then you look at yourself back and say, hey, this doesn't look like a place for me.
No. What you don't understand is that they didn't start from there. You may when you went there, you saw that they are all buff, but they also started from the point that you are now coming to start. You understand? So you have to be careful, not don't let that get into your head.
Okay.
You understand? Just put it in your mind that Charlie.
Yeah.
Just put it in your mind that they didn't get to this point that easily, or they didn't just start and then they got there. They started from point A to point B. So I also have to start from point A to point B.
Right, Raj. So before you go, we would like you to do some, simple body fitness workouts for a beginner. Yes, a beginner. Something they can do. Especially, I like my 9 to 5 workers because they are mostly stressed. In fact, out of 100%, you get like about 95% of them. Even if they've not done anything, they're already tired before they even get to the gym.
Well,
And
but then it depends on what you are working out for. Are you trying to build body, or are you just trying to stay fit? It all depends on what you are hoping to achieve, even as a 9 to 5 worker.
all right.
Yeah.
So
Today, but what I'm going to be taking you through is just like basic things that you can do at home to stay fit, not necessarily build muscle.
All right, Raj, thank you so much for being with us. But we are not letting you go without doing some, beginner fitness skirmishes for us on the show this morning. And if you don't see me here, Raj will take after the show. So he's coming to, do some basic beginner fitness lessons for us this morning. So don't go anywhere. Be with us shortly. Raj will be on your screen soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear Ashton Hall,
welcome back to the Sports Update segment on your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. And here we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports, and we are covering all the action, both local and international. And yes, indeed, today is a great day. We serve a merciful God. He's been so good to us, and then we want to give him all the glory for what he has done for us, Barcelona fans, for what he has done for us, Messi fans, and of course, everybody out there who loves to enjoy football. All too soon, the World Cup is almost over. It's almost over. We still have the third and fourth place to play on Saturday, and then on Sunday, of course, the finals that is going to be played between Spain and then Argentina. The finalissima that was supposed to have been played, some weeks ago, some months ago, which unfortunately due to some reasons couldn't happen. It's yet to happen. It's set to happen, and it's no way other than the World Cup 2026 that was held in USA, Canada, and Mexico. Now, let me start with my stories for today. I'm panting a little bit because we just went through a small training exercise with my colleague in arms, Fit with Raj. Thank you very much, my brother, for this morning's cardio and then workouts. But then it doesn't take away the job from us. Today, let's talk about our first story for today, for the day, and it's a local story which happens to do with one of the giants in Ghanaian football, Ghanaian sports, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who are set to appoint a South African tactician, Eric Tinkler, as new coach. So yes, ever since the departure of Kotoko's coach, that is Karim Zito, some months ago, there hasn't been anybody to lead the Asante Kotoko team, the Kumasi Asante Kotoko team. Yes, they've been interim managers and all that, but then there hasn't been any coach. We've had Prince Yao Owusu, and then later it was Hamza Obeng, who joined, one after the other. Simultaneously, one came to overtake the other when they took it from Prince Yao Owusu. That was when Hamza came into the picture. So yes, there hasn't been really any substantial or any manager for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. But yes, we have good news for the Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans out there, the Berimama fans out there, the Porcupine Warriors, that they are set to appoint the South African tactician, Eric Tinkler, to take over and then, of course, manage the team. The club actually went through restructure recently. They recently appointed a Dutchman, Stanley Menzo, as director of football, and then they tasked him with overseeing the technical direction and everything that has to do with the club, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So things are already cooking. Things are in place to make the team a better one. Tinkler actually brings a wealth of experience to his role. He's managed several clubs in South African Premier League, and then he's also been in charge. He was in charge of Orlando Pirates, Cape Town City, SuperSport United, Chippa United, and Maritzburg United. Most recently, he led the Sekuhuni United. So yes, a 55-year-old. He actually played for the South African national team, the Bafana. Yes. So he's had impacts around the world, wherever he is, both as a manager and then as a player himself. So yes, Kumasi Asante Kotoko is here to prepare him to manage the club and then see where the 2026-2027 season will take them to. Now, the next story for the day is also a local / international story, which happens to do with one of our very own, Mohamed Kudus. Yes, we have some great news coming from the camp of Tottenham Hotspurs. Yes, Mohamed Kudus returns to full training after long injury layoff. Yes, for those of us who know, Mohamed Kudus actually missed the World Cup that happened. That is, ongoing. Yes, but he happened to miss the World Cup since January when he had a quad injury setback. So yes, he got injured around his quads. Those of us who know where our quads are. Yeah, so he had an injury back in January, which affected him throughout more than half of the year. And because of this injury, he couldn't participate in the World Cup that is ongoing, that has ended. The campaign for Black Stars has ended. But we have great news. He was seen, training with the squad, preparing for the preseason. He was involved in the preseason preparations for Tottenham Hotspurs just yesterday and then the day before. So that's what we can see on our screens. Kudus, going through some physical trainings just to get himself up to level, up to spar on the field of football. So yes, he actually returned to a year. He's supposed to have spent more than 6 months, but I think the intensity or how much he's really into the love, he loves football and he wants to get back on the pitch. It actually helped him to boost his recovery process, and then now he's on the field. Hopefully he'll be able to play in the first fixture of Tottenham Hotspurs against when the season begins. So yes, we are hoping that he's been able to manage very well, because sometimes when you get injury and then you are returning, it actually creates a dent on your mind as to how to play, prepare yourself, and of course deliver for your club and country. So we hope Kudus the very best. Hopefully he'll be fit enough, he'll be properly prepped for the African Cup of Nations 2027 qualification that will be starting from September 23rd, and hopefully we'll get him very strong and healthy for Ghana and of course for Tottenham alike. Now the next story for the day is also a local stroke international story, and it's about one Ghanaian midfielder, Salim Adams. So Sudanese giant Al Hilal SC Sporting Club announces signing of Ghanaian midfielder Salim Adams. So yes, those of us who know about Salim Adams, one of the very good midfielders out there who came from Mediama Sporting Club. So he's actually a local player who was prepared, and then he went on ahead to join the Ghana national team. And then yes, now he's being shipped off to Sudan to go and join Al Hilal SC as they've signed him on a 4-year contract. So he's 24 years of age, and then he ranks, he's one of the best players, like I said earlier. He's actually happy to join this club, regardless of the distance and whatever that has to do with the inconveniences with it. But then yes, he's leaving the shores of Ghana, and then hopefully he will come out as one of the best in the world. Hopefully Al Hilal will propel him to go out there to the world, because he's actually very good. Those of us who know him, you can attest to the fact that he's very good with his feet, and of course his spatial awareness, aerial balls. He's one of the very good passes of the balls too. He's not afraid to take on his opponents, and one-on-one situations it's difficult to beat Salim Adams. Unfortunately, we lose him from Mediama SC to Al Hilal. But then it's also great news, because in life you have to progress. You don't have to retrogress. So wherever he is, he feels like moving to Al Hilal is a step further for him. So we want to wish him the best and hope that he'll come out as one of the best midfielders in the world. Now the main headlines for the day. The main highlights for the day, the reason why you and I are here today, the reason why yesterday we were screaming, we were shouting on top of our voices yesterday. Yes, Argentina had to play England yesterday, last night around 7 p.m. Ghana time. And it was one of the best games so far for Argentina, because anybody who has been watching this game, especially Argentina games, can testify that Argentina hasn't been on top of their game ever since the beginning of the competition. But yesterday they showed the English players who the real men are. And the game began, it was quite a bloodbath, because it was just back-to-back injuries, players hurting themselves, kicking themselves on the pitch throughout the first half. That was what was happening. But in the second half, just 10 minutes after the second half began, Anthony Gordon, the new signing of FC Barcelona, my darling club, yes, so he broke the deadlock by scoring a very beautiful goal for the English national team, England. So Argentina went down by 1-0 throughout the second half. When it began until somewhere around the 80th minute going. I stand to be corrected. I think it was somewhere around that. I'm too excited to even remember the times when it goes. But that is what happened. And then we saw the greatest of all time, the greatest footballer of all time, yet delivering again on the bigger stage. He's 39 years of age, and you see him playing and you are wondering, what are we witnessing? Are we witnessing the Messi of the young Messi, or what is going on? Yesterday we saw the Ankara Messi, we saw the dribbling Messi, we saw the midfield Messi, we saw the number 10 Messi, we saw the false 9 Messi, we saw all shades of Messi last night. Anybody who missed the game between Argentina and England yesterday has really missed a lot. Yes, there are other very beautiful games that were played throughout the competition, but this is what we are talking about, the semi-finals. Whether you played a nicer game than this or not, where are you now? We can't talk about you because this is who we are talking about, and this is who is the team that is going to win the trophy against Spain. So yes, yesterday was actually a brilliant game. 2 assists by Lionel Andres Leo Messi. He actually delivered a very good pass to Enzo, and then Enzo converted it into the net. Yesterday, Pickford was very good. I mean, it was quite, surprising that Pickford could perform to this level. But yeah, that is football for you. So Pickford was very good in the goal post. Unfortunately, he couldn't last. I think we could, in my opinion, we could apportion some of the blame to Thomas Tuchel for the changes he made. Actually, the man panicked, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. You are playing against the best in football, so you are expected to make such mistakes. He panicked, especially when Argentina started attacking. It was surprising that just after England scored the first goal, they decided to sit back, park the bus. How do you park the bus in the 65th minute, 66th minute against a team that is on an all-out attack? Argentina, with very good headers, very good converters, and they have Messi in the team. It was quite surprising, but then again, Thomas Tuchel panicked, and alongside the boys, they all panicked, and then they thought, okay, defense is, better. Little did they know that tables were going to turn, and then this time around, Enzo Fernandez converted the first goal, yet assisted by Lionel Messi, and of course the second goal that also came in. First of all, it was it hit the goal post, and then it came back to Lionel Messi, who converted a very brilliant ball into the 18-yard box, with his weaker foot, that is his right foot, just onto the head of Lautaro Martinez. Mind you, there were about 7 to 8 defenders in the box, English players in the box when the ball was converted into the box. And then Thomas Tuchel actually decided to sub in very tall defenders in the likes of Dan Burn to come and defend against Argentina, their aerial balls, their crossings and all that. But that cannot stop Argentina. Yes, a ball was set into the box. And then we had Lautaro Martinez, Bobo. Yes, he converting the ball into the net with his head. A very brilliant header into the net. And then that actually sealed the deal for Argentina as they won by 2-1 against England. So yes, congratulations to Argentina, Alba Celeste. Yes, they qualified to the final game that will be played on Sunday against the Espanyol team, that is Spain. Yes, Spain is going to play against Argentina, and this is going to be a father and son affair because we have pictures that dates back in 2007 where we saw Messi, actually bathing Lamine Yamal in a basin. Yes, so it's another story. We can talk about it later on, but yes, we saw Messi bathing Lamine Yamal. And on Sunday, we are going to have a game between these same two people, Messi and Lamine Yamal. It's actually going to be a very interesting game. This is the most beautiful script in football ever. Nobody can say any other thing. Nobody can prove or provide any other script that is better than this. A father and son affair. And yes, you are going to witness a very beautiful game between the two of them. To the against supporters union, the Ronaldo fans, Mbappe fans, the Bellingham fans, and wherever you belong to, if you don't belong to the camp of Messi. I don't know who you support, but for Barcelona fans and for Argentines and for Messi fans, whether it goes to Argentina or for Spain, we are okay, we are comfortable. Can you say same? Unfortunately, no. Yes, so this is the love of football. This is what football does for us. This is what it does to us. This is what it gets us to. The adrenaline, the love, the joy it brings us when we watch the game. And yesterday was one of a memorable day, a day that we will never forget. Yes, it was beautiful, and then we are glad it happened. So yes, that is it for the sports update segment. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. My name, as always, is Benedict Nketia Kwating. Next is the business segment with my very own colleague, Nsia. Charlie, I forget his name. Peter, 4.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome. This is the business update segment in the Koko Digest Morning Show. And as usual on this segment, we provide you with the latest in the world of business, expert analysis and market trends that will impact your business and investment decisions. I am your host, Peter Nsia. Now to our stories. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, is forecasting a marginal increase in petrol and diesel prices when the second pricing window takes effect on July 16, citing higher international refined fuel prices and the cedi's slight depreciation against the US dollar. Petrol is expected to retail between 13 cedis, 15 pesos, and 14 cedis, 53 pesos per litre, while diesel could sell for 14 cedis, 16 pesos to 15 cedis, 65 pesos per litre. Although global crude oil prices declined during pricing period, higher redefined product prices offset the drop. LPG prices are expected to remain relatively stable. There's more to this story.
The National Petroleum Authority has raised the price floors for all three petroleum products. Petrol's price floor has increased to 13.28 Ghana cedi per litre from 12.79 Ghana cedi. Diesel to 14.35 Ghana cedi from 13.54 Ghana cedis, and LPG to 10.19 Ghana cedi per kilogram from 10.11 Ghana cedis. The upward adjustments reflect changing global market conditions with renewed geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, raising concerns over international crude oil prices. OPEC has, however, urged oil marketing companies to exercise restraints and keep pump prices as stable as possible.
Away from that story, Ghana Gold Board purchased about 54 metric tons of gold from the artisanal and small-scale mining sector in the first half of 2026, with production expected to match or exceed last year's record output. The strong performance is expected to boost Ghana's gold export and foreign exchange earnings, supporting the country's economic recovery. There's more to this story.
Meanwhile, the national
Last year, ASM production reached a record 104 metric tons, surpassing output from the large-scale mining sector for the first time. Although recent decline in gold prices have moderated revenue expectation, Gold Board says Ghana remains on track to earn more from gold exports in 2026 than it did in 2025, supported by higher average gold prices compared to last year.
On to our last story, Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen is expected to present the 2026 mid-year budget review to Parliament next week, subject to parliamentary approval. The review is expected to outline government economic agenda aimed at consolidating recent microeconomic gains and transitioning the economy from stabilization to long-term growth. The minister is also expected to provide updates on Ghana's IMF program, the transition to the Policy Coordination Instrument (PCI), that progress on debt, restructuring, and the country's improved debt sustainability.
Additionally, the review is expected to highlight revenue performance for the first half of 2026, government expenditure plans for the rest of the year, and measures to support economic growth, job creation, fiscal discipline, and investor confidence. Overall, the mid-year budget review will assess the economy's performance over the first 6 months of the year and announce any necessary adjustment to the 2026 budget in response to the current economic conditions.
Let's now turn attention to the exchange rate, how the cedi is doing with comparing to other foreign exchange, and then also the gold coin. And that's all we have for you on the Business Update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. I would like to seize this opportunity to wish Hannah Afriye, the CEO of Hanel's Beauty Plus, a happy birthday. May God bless you and enlarge your coast. More grace to your elbow. Happy birthday to you. And this is from all of us here, especially room 101. Up next is the main discussion with Yaira Awono. Please do stay with us.
welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for us to have some discussions here. And just before we go into the LISPA conversation, which we are anticipating, we have some really beautiful women of God here with us who are coming to share some information with us about an upcoming conference. And they're in the persons of Evangelist Nana Kote and Mrs. Adebisi Andrew. And they're going to be talking to us about the Empowered for Glory conference. So let's get acquainted with them and let's find out what Empowered for Glory conference is all about. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So, Empowered for Glory conference. I know it is obviously something Christian, something religious, and something to get us to be closer with our Lord. So, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, Empowered for Glory is a conference organized by the evangelist here, Mama Nana Kote, to empower the family people and single people.
Right.
How to thrive in their home and how to allow the wisdom of God to guide them to do well in their homes so they can impact their family.
Right. Okay. So this year's theme is about grace to heal, wisdom to thrive, and impact your home. So what inspired this theme?
You know, the world, many people are beaten and battered. It takes God to heal you. Without God, it is impossible. That's why we are coming together with the women, that we are coming to bring in the word of God to heal those who are beaten and battered, those who doesn't have anywhere to go. The healing is all over. Many are broken heart in their homes. They don't have anywhere. But we have come together with experience with the power of God to release people.
Right. Wow, that's really beautiful. Especially, so in times like this, what exactly would you say makes this theme relevant to our current day and age and this dispensation?
Well, we all know, even in the Bible days, there are issues in some families. Okay, like we heard about Abraham, you know.
Yeah.
Abraham waiting on the Lord for
Isaac.
to have Isaac. But before Isaac came, Abraham messed up, you know. There are, and so we still have a lot of such today,
Right.
and even more. So a program like this, there's a way it can put people right, show them by the wisdom of God how to truly manage their marriages, manage themselves as husband and wife, and for the singles, how to truly position themselves rightly for God to truly put them in the marriage that will glorify Him and give them peace.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So this is to tell us that Empowered for Glory conference is for the single, the married, the men, and the women. We're all supposed to, you know, come in there and come and learn something. Let's be positioned strategically, and also let's get the Lord to help us to be able to work through some of the issues that we face, not just in our marriages, but in our lives as well. So, yes, quickly, in practical terms, what are some of the habits or principles that, you know, someone can adopt to, you know, build stronger homes and relationships as well? You know, based on the fact that this is to help us with our homes and all of that.
A lot. Isaiah 33, verse 6 says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So for any marriage or any relationship to thrive, we need the wisdom of God and we need the knowledge of God. So practically, the wisdom of God is that make sure your communication is actually, as in you are intentional about your communication with your partner, whether in the relationship or in the marriage.
Okay.
And also communication is very important. Then also make sure you both serve God together, because God at the center of any issue of life, not only in the marriage. Such will go well. Yes. Because even the Bible says, without me, you can do nothing. So without God, nothing works well. Of course, we as human beings will see it working, but it may not work well when God is not involved. So the wisdom of God will help the marriage to work well. And the wisdom of God, like I said, is make sure the communication is established, working communication, and also make sure you serve God together, like I said, and also be intentional about your partner. Be committed. Celebrate one another's achievements. Celebrate birthdays. These are things that make marriage to thrive, even relationship. And don't forget to appreciate each other. Don't take each other for granted. And appreciate God especially.
Wow, praise lovely. God. Thank you so much. That was very, very beautiful. So, about the program itself, where would it be held? We need the details, the venue. What should we expect also?
It's coming on East Legon, AH Hotel.
Okay.
The details about it is we are looking forward to those who are looking for the fruit of the womb. You come there.
Okay.
The women of God, we lay our hands on you. And the next year, like this time.
Okay.
And then those who are married is playing seesaw. We see that your marriage is not getting well. We are being true. And we are sustained. And we are alive. Come, you hear from us, and God will restore your home.
Okay.
And at the same time, the singles, those who are searching, the Bible says the righteous step is ordered by God. If God did not order your step, marriage, you crash. Marriage can destroy destiny, can destroy anything, because the Bible created it in the beginning in the Garden of Eden. So family is the head of everything. So you come there and see so many things.
Okay, so it's going to be held at the AH Hotel the 17th and the 18th of July. And it starts at what time, please? This early, would it be early in the morning? Is it the whole day?
We have impartation prayer.
Okay.
That's where those who are looking for the fruit of the womb, those who are looking for husband and wife, those who are beaten and battered, that is impartation. It's 8 o'clock. Exactly. 8 o'clock, come there. You are going to pray. And that was the Friday. And the luncheon hour was 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then from there, the program starts.
Right.
Our mommy and the big mommies, they are all coming there. You hear them. All of them are married for long. Some are 40 years, some are 30 years. It has not been easy journey, but God has kept them. And they have testimony for you. You hear them, and it will encourage you for your next step to move.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So lastly, before we come to the books here, as someone who's watching us, even for myself and our crew here, if we are coming, what should we expect to see or to have happen to us?
Wow. I like that statement. What should we expect? Because expectation is the mother of manifestation. So be fully expectant to go home with the wisdom of God that make things work. Wisdom of God that puts things the way no man can ever do it. Be expectant to carry the grace upon the ministers. It is not just the preaching, but because what you don't have, you can't give. Every minister of God, there is a grace upon their lives. And when you listen to, the grace will be transferred. So be expectant to go home with the grace that make marriage works, the grace that make person to be positioned aright to get right partner. The grace to make the barren to be fruitful. Because everyone coming up to minister at this program, by God's grace, God has blessed us with good marriages and children, and yours will not be exceptional by you being part of this program. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much. So admission for this conference is free. So please find your way to the AH Hotel on the 17th and 18th of July. That is tomorrow and on Saturday. So briefly, let's talk about the books. I can see Glorious Marriage and Finding and the Findable. What are these books about? What as a single person, I'm seeing glorious marriage. So obviously, it is something to prepare me. If you can shed some light on that briefly.
Yes, the book Glorious Marriage is actually for both the singles and the married, but especially the marriage. Yes, this was born out of, in fact, this book took 10 years. I started it when, I was just about maybe 10 years in the marriage. And before then, as a married person and especially as a pastor's wife, I've been counseling people and I've been seeing people's marriages. And I look at my marriage. This God is too good. And so it became a burden on me. How can marriage not work? Then there must be something missing. So I went to God and prayed. And this came to my mind that I should put together all that God has helped me in my own marriage and put together to help others.
Wow.
How I was located, how the marriage has been going by the help of God. By God's grace, the next anniversary, we'll be celebrating 25th years wedding anniversary. And to the glory of God, there has never been issue of, oh yeah, come and say your own, you come and say your own, somebody settling or something. No, it has been each free marriage to His glory. And so this made me to put this together to help singles and the married. And the finding unfindable. You see, a lot of singles everywhere. I discovered that where pastor, my husband is a pastor, I'm a pastor's wife, we're always on transfer. So every station we work, you always find people. Good looking ladies with good job, no marriage. No, it's not normal. So I seek the face of God, and God laid in my heart, how did you position yourself for you to be located by your husband? Go and put it together to help others. And that's exactly what you will find in this book. The steps to take, how God can help you, and how God helped me, how He positioned me, how I was found. Everything's in this book that will help as many that will pick to read.
Wow, that's very beautiful. So I'm sure these books will be made available at the conference for us to buy. Okay, so yes, when you make your way to the conference, please make sure to grab a copy of Glorious Marriage and Finding and Findable, so that you can also be strategically positioned for your life partner as well. Thank you so much, these women of God. Thank you so much for coming in. We hope to see you tomorrow. We'll be there to also come and join in the prayers and listen to the word of God as well. Thank you so much for coming. And yes, it's been an amazing time with you. So Mommy Evangelist Nana Kote has a single out. So let's enjoy that song briefly. Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for us to have our discussion on land use and spatial planning, what they do, the role they play in creating safe human settlements. And today my guest is Dr. Benedict Arkhurst. He is the head of the plan preparation at the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority. So this conversation is based on the fact that we know that unsafe human settlements are not accidents. They are a result of poor planning, and across Accra and many urban centers in Ghana, we have floods, fires, building collapses, and even disease outbreaks, which are often tracked back to where and how we build. Now, today's discussion will examine how, spatial planning and the deliberate organization of land use, infrastructure, and services can prevent disasters and also save lives. So we'll be looking at how proper road networks, drainage channels, and open spaces provide critical evacuation routes and buffer zones during emergencies. And we'll also be highlighting how coordinated land use prevents overcrowding and strain on essential services. And today we are going to be doing this with Dr. Benedict Arkhurst. So let's get into the conversation. Good morning, Doc. Thank you so much for joining us here. And because of the flooding issues, there have been concerns raised by people. We're always talking about, city planning, town planning, and some people don't even know that, is it LUSPA or LASPA?
It's LUSPA.
LUSPA yes. Even exists. So if you can shed some light on what LUSPA is all about and where to find you, what role we also need to play in working with you when it comes to our settlements?
Yeah, so LUSPA has existed since 1945 when the colonial government at the time passed the Town and Country Planning Ordinance at the time. And at the time, the primary focus was to help the colonial government in the exploitation agenda of the colonial government. So certain areas were declared as planning areas. So those areas required that you need to prepare a plan before development can take place. So we were known as the Town and Country Planning Department. We became LUSPA, or Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, in 2016 because of the reforms that government decided to put across with regards to how our towns and cities are organized and developed. Because we realized that for about 50 years, our planning had those colonial relics, which means that it didn't respond to how our towns and cities were developing. So in 2016, the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act was passed, which gave birth to LUSPA. So our name changed from Town and Country Planning Department to Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority. And we are at all the three multi-level governance level, that is the national, regional, and the district level. So what happened was that in 2016, when that act was passed, when you go to the district assembly, our departments, our operatives at the district assembly were known as the Town and Country Planning Departments. So now, per the decentralization of government, agenda of government, they were now transferred to the local government service. So at the district assembly level, they are called the Physical Planning Department. So we at LUSPA, we control them in terms of their building their technical capacities, in terms of issuing them guidelines on how spatial planning should be done at the district level. And also at the region, we have a regional spatial planning committee. They are in charge of planning at the regional level. And we at LUSPA, the national level, we are also in charge of coordinating sectorial policies because those sectorial policies have impacts on land use. So we as an authority, we work together with the National Development Planning Commission to ensure that the agenda of government in terms of development vision is translated into space through the spatial plans that we prepare. So that is a brief about LUSPA. So this one, I think I may have to issue a disclaimer. I have a few questions that may come off as biting, but it's not an attack in any way. So please bear with me. I'll try to also articulate them a little more tactfully. Just feel free.
Right. So, but how does LUSPA's role differ from that of the MMDAs and the old Town and Country Planning Department? Is it the same thing, or there's a difference?
Yeah, so it is related in a way. So the authority at the national and the regional level looks at planning policies, spatial planning policies, because the Acts 925 established what we know as the three-tier planning system.
Okay.
And the three-tier planning system looks at preparing strategic plans at all the three-tier level that the Act introduced. Because in the colonial era or in the past, when we were operating with the town and country plan ordinance, there were several challenges with the planning system because it was realized that planning was piecemeal. Because at the time, the colonial government at the time declared few areas as planning areas, and a moratorium was also put in place, which means that you cannot develop an area unless a plan has been prepared and approved. And as a result of that, several areas in Ghana were developed. So if you come to Accra, Cantonment area, Sekendi Takrade, Takwa areas, the agenda was that the colonial government was exploiting our resources. So in exploitation of the resources, they need to improve infrastructure, put infrastructure in place, developing housing schemes. So that planning system tried to do that. So it created spatial inequalities between the northern part of Ghana and the southern part of Ghana. And even within the southern part of Ghana, not all areas were developed. Yes, so as a result of that, that new system was put in place. So at LUSPA, we now look at developing standards, guidelines to guide spatial planning at the district level. So in terms of the district level, they are also autonomous. The district assemblies are planning authorities on their own. But the way the new planning system works is that whatever plans that they prepare should emanate from higher order plans. By higher order plans, I mean from the national spatial development frameworks that we prepare, the regional spatial development frameworks that we prepare. It's cascade down to the district level. So we at LUSPA, we train them on how to prepare these spatial plans. We also monitor their activities in terms of their development control functions. We issue them manuals for the preparation of these spatial plans. We give them zoning guidelines and planning standards to help them in their land use and spatial planning functions. And we also build their capacities in several areas because, planning is dynamic. And as government changes, government policy also changes. We need to revise our plans to conform to what government vision is. So from time to time, that's what we do. So we basically control them in terms of their technical functions, in terms of their promotions. We make sure that we are also part of the process so to ensure that we have the crop of planners that will promote the development of human settlement, because that is the major reason why the new planning system was put in place.
Okay, so two of my hard questions have come up now. One of them is that if you've been in existence for this long, why is it that a lot of Ghanaians don't seem to be aware of this institution?
So I would say there are certain times people say that there's poor planning in Ghana. There's nothing like poor planning, because if you say poor planning, it means that the planning that we do, is it poor, or the plans that we have designed are poorly done?
Executed.
Yes. So the problem is the implementation of the plans that we churn out. We have all the plans. Everywhere in Ghana, most of the areas are planned. So the problem is not about planning, but it is about implementation of the plans. So we've been in existence for all these years. And the plans that is supposed to guide the development of human settlements, the plans are there. The issue is about why these plans are not being implemented. So, and in planning school, we are taught that within the planning process, implementation is part of the planning process. Monitoring and evaluation is also part of the planning process. So it is the system that has failed planning. It is not planning that has failed Ghana. So Ghana has rather failed us. And we think that even people need to apologize to us. Yes.
I mean, from the layman's point of view, we hear land use and spatial planning. So we assume that LUSPA is who plans for us and, allows us to come live here, build your house, do all of that. So when you now put it this way, maybe now makes us understand that, okay, there's more to it. Yes. So again, now the second biting question, which is the fact that you are talking about training and, building capacity for the MMDAs and all of that. And I mean, we have all these districts and you've gone to the district level. So how come it still looks as though, I don't even want to say they don't exist, but it's almost as though there is no planning, because over the years, we've seen a lot of overcrowding in certain areas, people building on waterways, and even slums cropping up in certain areas. Where is the failure coming from or starting from? And then also, who is responsible for the implementation? Okay, so the first question, I will attribute it to weak local governance system that we have. Yes, because if you look at the old planning system, we should give greater control and power to the planner and also the government at the time. Gradually, even globally, planning shifted towards communicative action, which means that the people need to be involved in the plans that we prepare or in the planning process. Because in the past, some will say that, planners sat in their office and prepared the plans. We are not involved and all that. So all those challenges culminated into government introducing reforms to the planning system. So if you look at the planning system that was put in place from 2016, now stakeholder consultation is one of the key components of the process. You have to involve the chiefs, you have to involve the citizenry, you have to involve different levels of stakeholders to be able to contribute to the plan preparation. So the planner acts as a mediator to guide the process. So when you go to the district assembly level, the plans, most of them have these plans, but if you look at the new plans, a 3-tier planning system that was introduced, we introduced what we call spatial development framework and structure plan. Those are long-term plans because we realize that there are certain shocks and stresses that faces towns and cities. You cannot solve it at the local plan level, which means that you cannot have a community plan addressing those issues. You need to look at those issues from a strategic point of view. So these plans that I'm talking about are 20-year and 15-year plans, which looks at either the entire region, the districts, or an area. So let's take the issue of flooding. Flooding is not a neighborhood, it's not confined to one neighborhood. You have to look at it from a holistic point of view. If you take, let's say, let me use Ladadu Kotopon as an example. You need to look at the issue of flooding at the municipal-wide level because there are several factors that contribute to the flooding. So once you have a spatial plan, it will now look at where are the drainage network, where are the waterways, how do we protect these waterways, how do we create buffers to ensure that these waterways do not contribute to flooding. Let's take the circulation system, which is the road network, for example. If we are planning from the municipal point of view or the municipal wide, you will be able to now look at the linkages, how you link the road network in such a way that we know the road network also should have drains also around them. Yes. So it is at that level that you can strategically come out with strategies to be able to address the issue of flooding. But in Ghana, per the Act 925 in 2016, after the National Spatial Development Framework was prepared, which LUSPA led in the implementation of in the preparation of the plan in collaboration with NDPC and other stakeholders, the regions are supposed to have their regional spatial development framework, which means that they also take their spatial vision or how the regions in Ghana is supposed to develop from the National Spatial Development Framework. Then after the regions, the districts also prepare that district spatial development framework, which looks at the 3 pillars of sustainability: environment, economic, and social. So all the sectoral issues within these 3 areas are coordinated, and also the plan makes sure that
it has impact on how our towns and cities develop.
Okay.
But out of the 261 districts, only 30 have this district special development framework in place.
Why is that?
And within the regions, in 16 regions, only 3 of them to have the regional special development framework in place. And you ask the question, why is the case? It is because government at, let me say, the local government level, you have to prioritize and put in resources to develop, to come out with those plans, because you cannot create safer human settlements without a plan. If you look at the colonial government at that time, Gogisbeck, Alan Barnes, they came out with 10-year development plan. Those were special plans, and the plans helped them to be able to create sustainable cities, towns and cities during that time. Let's take Kwame Nkrumah, for example. Everybody talks about the fact that Kwame Nkrumah is one of the successful presidents that we have. Nkrumah developed what we call the 7-year development plan. It was a special plan, and that plan was targeted at poverty alleviation. It was targeted at industrialization, using spatial planning to industrialize Ghana. And that is where he built Akosombo, the Akosombo Dam, Takoradi, Tema Harbor, created towns like Yaniba Estate, Dansuma, Tema area. Yes. So if you want to succeed as a politician or as a political leader, then you need to take spatial planning serious. If you don't take spatial planning serious, you are not going to develop. We all say that advanced countries have developed and all that. They just didn't develop out of vacuum. They use spatial planning to develop. And that is what the British were trying to teach us as a nation. But over the years, planning has been neglected, has been relegated to the background. When floods come, when disasters come, then it is we the planners. Yes. So you can see that the issue is not about whether the plans are not in place, but the plans are in place. The issue is about implementation. The issue is about putting in financial resources to ensure that whatever plans we put in place, we are also implementing those plans. So it's weak governance, local governance system that has failed the country in terms of planning, and also I will also say weak development control. The district assemblies are they are supposed to do what we call development control. Development control means that you have to ensure that people develop with permits, and people develop in areas that they are supposed to develop. And these two issues are what is failing our planning system in Ghana.
Wow. That's been very, very informative. And I remember asking, who is responsible for the implementation of these plans?
Yes.
Is there a body, or is it also LUSPA?
So the implementation of the plans is a collective responsibility between several actors. So if you look at all the plans that we prepare, we assign roles to all the some of the identified institutions, because the issues that we discuss in the plan cut across economic, social, environments. If you take the major sectors of the economy, it's cut across all of them. So there are several actors who play certain roles for those plans to be implemented. But the major actor is the government of the day, whether the central government or the local government, depending on the level of plan that has been prepared. Yes. So we as spatial planners, we are also part of the implementation process, but we don't take the lead role, because whatever
you
plans
usually
that
advise and things
so
like
whatever
that.
plans that you prepare is supposed to guide government in its investment decisions, in its interventions in terms of development and all that. So if a government decides that it's not going to implement the plans, there is nothing you as a planner you will do. What you can do is that you have to lobby and advocate. You have to, sometimes they don't also know that these plans exist, because we have government changing and government coming in. So we also play a role as an advocate to let them know that these plans exist. You know, sometimes if the political class thinks that your plans will not help or advance their cause, they are not going to implement it. So we also have a role to play. The last one I'll also talk about is that for spatial planning to succeed, power and civic action is also very critical. So we, the masses, the citizens, we also have a greater role to play if we want to create a safer human settlement. So if a community sees people developing in a public park, in a wetland, we don't have to wait for the government to come in before we take action. We citizens have a role to also take that action to ensure that we protect those spaces that have been created in the plans that we have.
Okay, so when I think about the LUSPA, organization and all of that, I don't know, but my mind goes to, let's say, as a civilian or as a citizen of the country, if I want to build, it means that maybe I have to go to, when I go to Lands Commission and land titles and all the other institutions, I have to also come to LUSPA. Is there something like that?
Yes, so the first step you have to take is you have to go to the district assembly to check if you've been given a land to develop.
Okay.
You have to check whether the purpose for which you bought the land conforms to the plan of the area.
Okay.
Yes, so because per the act, per law, the planning law, you cannot develop without a plan, and you cannot also develop without a permit. Yes, so because land is an asset and it is something that is valuable, you need to check from the planning authority whether if I have bought a land for residential, that land can be used for residential before you even go ahead to want to register the land.
Okay.
Because you can register the land and later you come and they are saying that the place is a wetland, which means that you cannot develop the area. Yeah, so planning is the first step in terms of any development decision that anybody takes. And God, in His infinite wisdom, taught us, because if you read the Bible, He said in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And at a point, God said, let there be light, let the waters below separate from the... So God was telling us that for you to be able to exist in a safer environment, you need to organize your things in place.
Okay.
So even in the natural environment, God tried to organize the space for us before He created human beings to be able to habitate or cohabit with nature. Yeah. So the built environment, that is how humans intervene in the natural environment God has created, is what we know as built environment. So it means that we have to use spatial planning to ensure balanced development between the natural environment and the built environment. So what it means that it is not everywhere that you can develop.
Yeah.
We have to come to terms with that. And there's a particular reason why God made it so. Yes. And you can only achieve that if you have a spatial plan. So that is why if you want to develop, you need to first check from the district assembly level. When you come to LUSPA, we, as I mentioned, we are more interested, or we are mostly focused on policy and all that. But if you want to get the real-time information, then you need to go to the district assembly to be able to get that information to help you.
So the ordinary Ghanaian would say that they usually only have access to the site plan and those things after they've paid for the land. Now, in a situation where they've bought a piece of land that's in a waterway, and they come and do the checks based on the site plan. So maybe they present the site plan and it's shown that, okay, no, it's a wetland or it's a waterway. How then do they get their refund and things? I mean, knowing the situation when it comes to land acquisition in this country, what would you advise that we also as citizens do in order to make sure that the role we are playing is not exacerbating the problem, but rather trying to curb it as much as we can?
Yeah, so what I would say is that normally when you are doing a land transaction, especially when in Accra here, any person who wants to develop a space in Accra, because of the land values and issues that we face, sometimes people request for a site plan to do a search at the Lands Commission to ensure that nobody has registered the land. So at that initial stage, doing that search, try to do a land use check at the district assembly level.
Okay.
The land use check will help you to take that basic decision. Sometimes landowners will even say that just make a commitment. It depends on how you come out with arrangement with them, knowing that how valuable land is. Just make an arrangement in such a way that, just let me pay some commitment and let me do my checks, my background checks. So the background checks can now inform you that, wherever this place that you are going to buy the land is a waterway, it's a road. So then you don't go ahead. You don't go and pay the money before you now go and do the checks. Because when you go back, the chief will tell you that he is already funded the money. Yes. So our advice as an authority is that once you take the first step of wanting to do any development, do the land use checks first. Seek advice from the district assembly, because it is one of their land use and spatial planning function to advise developers, to advise prospective developers on the decisions that they take in terms of purchasing land and wanting to do development. Yes. So once we do that as citizens, we also help implement the plans that we have put in place, which says that certain ecological assets or sensitive areas within the town or city needs to be protected. Yeah, so it's one of our civic action that we need to take as well.
Okay. So earlier you mentioned that about three regions in the country have the national regional spatial plan. And then coming to the MMDAs, too, very few of them have that. So what happens if maybe I'm going to do the necessary checks and I get to the municipal or district assembly and they are in the category of the ones that don't have that information?
Yeah, so the three-tier planning system that was put in place, I mentioned that at the top of the tier and the middle of the tier, so the SDFs and the structure plans, those are strategic plans, long-term plans. But we have one at the local plan, the bottom of the tier is called local plan, or what you know as layout. So the layout shows where a road should be, where a particular plot should be. So those are detailed plans.
And those ones are always
valid,
there.
Yes, those ones are valid for 5 years. So those plans are always there. That guides developers, especially those who want to develop parcels of land. Yes. So those plans, most of those areas or the districts have those plans in place. Yes. But when it comes to strategic issues that we mentioned, like in terms of flooding, in terms of development, delivering infrastructure, development and all that, you need those higher level plans. That is the SDF to structure plans to guide the districts in coming up with those developments and investment decisions. And it is those plans that most of the districts don't have. That is why the issues of flooding and all that, we are experiencing them. But at the national level, we have come up with strategies to solve all these issues. The issue is that it has to cascade towards the district level. And that is where they don't have those plans in place. And the reason that I gave was because they don't want to invest in those long-term plans to guide development within their planning area.
So, as an authority, is there not a likelihood or a possibility that you can call for a stakeholder meeting where the heads of all the MMDAs, there's a meeting together where, you know, there's a conversation, a comprehensive conversation about these? Maybe as LUSPA, maybe you have all these plans, so you print and give to them, or create a, technology, so you create a link or something to also share it to them, so that it's not as though we are constantly blaming the government, but we are also trying to do something. Can there be something like that?
Yes, it is part of our functions, and we've been doing that every year. Even currently, next week we'll be doing monitoring. So we monitor their activities every year, all the 261 districts. We try to understand some of the challenges that they are facing, and through that we make recommendation to the Minister for Local Government, because we are not that ministry, to help them in addressing some of the issues. So the MMDs, the DCs, who are the political heads of the municipal assemblies, they are aware of these issues and all that. And one strategy that we are also hoping to use is that, at the common fund level, we want to recommend to the ministry and also the government to set aside a portion of that fund to go into spatial planning activities. Yes, once that is done, it will help them to come out with some of these plans which are missing within the district assembly. But most of the districts, we also advise them that they need to be innovative, because if you look at the permit fees that they take from developers, why don't you invest about 30% of those permit fees in preparing those plans. Because the more you prepare the plans, the more development interventions also come in, and the more you get the money. So if the issue is about them not committing some of the resources that they get into spatial planning. Yes. So that is what, but as LUSPA, we've been engaging them, we monitor them during capacity building programs that we have for them. We hammer on all these things. Now we've even come with strategies that even though you don't have the resources now, those plans, you can do it incrementally. Maybe even if it takes you 3, 4, 5 years, you will still come, you still put that plan in place. So in your budget for the year, try to budget something for the plan, because we have about 10 steps that you have to go through to prepare this plan. You can budget 2 steps for this year. Next year, you budget 3 steps. Yeah, so it is not something that we can achieve at once. But if we commit to it and we do it incrementally, we will be able to do that.
Okay. So we have comments here, more like questions actually from some of our viewers. And this is a reminder that you can send your questions and comments to the WhatsApp number displayed onto your screens, or to the YouTube or Facebook live stream. I'll get them and read them to our guest here. So this one says, Mr. J. Kumi in Tamale. He says, I have lived in a I've lived in a flood-prone community for over 20 years, and every rainy season my home gets flooded. What practical solutions can LUSPA offer to residents like myself?
Yeah, so the practical solutions is that he needs to move from the area. He needs to move.
Yes. But he's bought the land.
Yes, so the question is, do they have permits? Some will even tell you that they have permits, but if you investigate, they may not have permits, because no planning authority is supposed to give permits to people within flood-prone areas. Yes, so if you go to the Sakumano Ramsar side, people were developing, but nobody has a permit in that area. So if such an area floods, you cannot blame planning because in our plans, that area is a wetland. And in our national and regional plans, they are there. So you are not supposed to develop. So the issue that I mentioned is weak development control. So even though it's a wetland, the assemblies are not giving permits. They are supposed to do development control in those areas, because the law states that you don't have to let people develop without permits. And especially if it is within ecologically sensitive areas and public spaces like parks, forests, and all that. The assembly, you are not supposed to allow people to develop. So in terms of the person who brought that comment, the best thing for him is to relocate because every year you'll be experiencing that flooding issue because it's a flood-prone area.
So assuming Mr. J. Kumi has a permit, a building permit, what happens if he is to relocate? Is there any compensation package for him as well?
There is no compensation package for him. Yes, because he was not supposed.
Is there
I don't think
government institution that gave him permit?
So unless we investigate further to see whether he has a permit.
Okay.
If he has a permit, then it is the planning authority that has to be taken on, because he was not supposed to get a permit in the first place. As I mentioned, if he had done his checks and all that, he wouldn't have gone ahead to develop an area.
So it's looking like people who may have their homes and shops in these wetlands or flood-prone areas, it looks like we may be on our own. So please, if you know you are in a place like that, start mobilizing to move, because it looks like the government is not going to save us that much.
Greater role. So if you look at the strategic plans that we've prepared, we've come out with solutions to government on how to solve this issue. So areas in our plans, we earmark areas which are flood-prone, waterways, and people have developed within those areas. So we've come out with strategies that government needs to take the steps to relocate these people, people within these enclaves, create alternative sites that we can develop for them. Then we earmark those areas, we green those areas as water retention areas to help, because if those areas are water retention areas, it will prevent the impact of the flooding to even areas that are well planned within our towns and cities. Yes.
Okay. So I have another one here. So G Inspire in Kaswa Barrier says, I noticed that a developer is filling a wetland to build his house at Kaswa Barrier Second Junction. As an ordinary citizen, what should I do? And how would LUSPA respond to such a report?
Yeah, so he needs to report the issue to the local planning authority. And as I mentioned, civic action also is our responsibility. He needs to also mobilize those within the area that we need to stop these people from going ahead with the development. But the first stop is that you should go to the planning authority and report to them that somebody is filling the wetland and developing the wetland. They need to take that first action. If they don't take that action, community action can also prevent some of these things. Because we all know that wetlands are not supposed to develop. If you don't take that action and he fills the area, the impact is that when it rains, the flooding, it will rather flood you that you have developed where you are supposed to develop. Yes. So he needs to talk to the local planning authority, tell them the issue, and ensure that the development control team move to the area to stop them.
Okay, so in recent times, people have been talking about the fact that the Chado area is predominantly, water prone or a wetland, or I think somebody even said an estuary or so, and people have filled it up. So as an authority, and in addition to all these stakeholders that you work in partnership with, if someone gives you a tip of, are you in the capacity to mobilize or go with policemen to arrest the people, do some demolitions there, and try to get the place back to what it naturally is supposed to be?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, our operatives at the district assembly level, at the physical planning department. So when we receive such reports, we try to contact them and let them know the implications of all those development within those sensitive areas. Because as LUSPA, the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, we are supposed to also ensure coordination or control development, physical development in uncontrolled or less controlled ecologically sensitive areas like wetlands, forest areas, floodplains, and all that. So the local implementation lies with the planning authority, local planning authority, which is the district assembly. So we as LUSPA, there are several actions that we've taken with regards to some of these issues. So for the Chado issue, we have been working with the district assembly to ensure that we have areas which are waterways, especially where the estuary. In 2024, somebody even applied to turn the mangroves into residential units. So they advertised, and we LUSPA wrote to them that development shouldn't happen. So the assembly refused it. Yes, it's because we worked with our officer there. Because sometimes some of these issues, they have some higher hands up that you cannot say. So you have to use the planning process and the procedures to ensure that such applications are rejected. Yeah. So once we receive these reports, we take action as an authority because the law gives us that power to be able to do that.
Okay, so you've spoken extensively on some of the structural challenges. So let's come to challenges springing up from the opposite end of the spectrum, that's the citizens. Do you face issues like people paying off some of these institutions to allow them to continue with the bad behavior that they go and build where they are not supposed to be?
No, I wouldn't say that because I don't have evidence for some of these issues.
But is that something that you hear about in the MMDAs?
Yes, so the perception is out there. But sometimes if we receive some of these issues, if it comes to our attention, we set up a committee, we work with the district assembly to be able to unearth some of these issues. And the law provides that we recommend to the Minister for Local Government, who is responsible for planning, sanctions. So there are sanctions in the Act. So if we find some officers culpable, we recommend sanctions for the Minister to take on. Yeah, so we haven't, if we receive those reports, we act. But if we don't receive it and it is a public perception, that one we cannot act. But if we have concrete evidence, we will act. Yes, there are several instances that we've received that report, or the ministry has received such reports. They ask us to investigate, and we give the ministry our recommendations for them to act. Yes, so it is something that it is also happening there. But as I mentioned, there is a difference between land ownership and land use. So you can even own a river, but land use planning will determine what you use the river for.
Okay.
So you can say that, yeah, I own the river, I want to do anything, but land use plan will tell you that you can't do anything in the river. You can own a forest, but the land use will tell you that you can't develop the forest. Yeah, so it is about building stronger local governance systems in place to ensure that we use land use to deliver on the vision that we have, and also ensure that we maintain certain ecological assets and environmental assets, which God in His infinite wisdom created that we should leave them as it is. Yes.
All right. Okay. So I just thought of the markets. There was a time I think there was a fire outbreak, or there have been recurrent fire outbreaks, and then my colleagues, we were talking about the fact that within a short while they rebuild again, and we were talking about the fact that even the fire service didn't get to access certain places and all of that. So coming to land use and spatial planning, where do markets fall in this case? And why is it that as the market population seems to be increasing, there seems to rather be more of the overcrowding as opposed to an expansion of these markets and creating, proper plans and settlement areas for them to fit in, and then there's free flow of the people, cars, and even access to these points for some of these emergency response, teams and institutions.
So I would say that the problem with that is that is a local government issue. Yes, I can tell you for a fact that most of the development decisions of the local government authorities doesn't conform to any plan. So the issue about markets, the assembly will say that we want to build 5 markets. It is not backed by any plan. And that is the reason why we face some of the issues that we are facing with regards to our human settlement development. So we want to build schools. If we check where they are building the school, where is it in the spatial plan of the assembly? It is not there. So there is a link between development decisions and planning. And that is why some of these issues that we are facing, because, spatial planning, the core focus of spatial planning is one, balanced development, inclusive and sustainable mobility, where you are creating road networks to ensure that pedestrians have a place to use. Those using cars also have a place also to use. Spatial planning also helps to in disaster risk reduction.
Yeah.
So if the decisions that you are taking in terms of development is not backed by a plan, and during fire outbreak, how is it possible for fire service to be able to access those spaces? Because those development decisions were not backed by plans. So it is it's a countrywide problem that when you go to the local government authorities, you will find there is the link between the development decision. Maybe the ADC will say that I want this market to go to this particular community. Meanwhile, that community is not planned. So the market is just put anywhere. And because of haphazard development, when in terms of disasters, people cannot access the market because we didn't properly plan the area to ensure that we are putting that critical economic asset within that particular area. So in this case, you cannot blame planning. You have to blame the development decisions of the assembly.
Okay.
But as an authority, we have been trying to educate the district assemblies, build their capacities. So we have what they call zoning guidelines and planning standards. That guidelines and manuals help the district assemblies to be able to prepare their plans and create residential areas, commercial areas, and we've even earmarked permissible uses and non-permissible uses. So even within a residential area, it is not everything that any development that can be there. You can't develop a factory within a purely residential area. So we've been educating them and building their capacities so that they can take right investment decisions based on the spatial plans that are put in place.
But in trying to educate them, it also seems as though maybe you're not being heard enough. So what do you think maybe moving forward you can also incorporate into your efforts or into trying to educate the MMDAs and the necessary bodies about the importance of spatial planning?
Yes, so I would say that if you look at Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, we work for the government, so we are part of the governance structure. Yes, so what I would say is that we can only act as advocates because the decision, the planning decisions that you take, the final outcome depends on the political class.
Okay.
So we need to lobby. We need to be advocates of the plans that we prepared. We need to guide them that whatever that they want to do, we can use spatial planning to deliver on that and let them understand. So even we try to educate the built environment professionals like the Ghana Institute of Planning, architects, that whatever plans that they have, even during elections, lobby the political parties, let them know the plans that you have in place so that when they win power, they will be able to deliver on that. So as LUSPA, what we can do is that we can do more education, so sensitization like this one. We do a lot of stakeholder consultations. During those fora, the political class are also part of them. We try to educate them that we have to be serious with spatial planning. We can use spatial planning to deliver whatever promise that we've even promised the people of Ghana. Yeah, so we can only continue in that part, but we don't have the power to make the final decision or the final say in the plans that we do.
Right. Okay. This is a serious issue. We have more questions here. So this one says, I received a building permit, but my neighbors complain that the project blocks access to an access road. How would LUSPA determine whether the development complies with the planning scheme? This is Mabel Asante in Tema.
Okay, so if he's normally when you are given a building permit, you are the district assembly are supposed to do continuous checks to ensure that whatever you are developing conforms to the permits that you have been given. So if the district assembly, the building inspectors don't come, you as a developer, you are also supposed to call them to come and check because they have the technical know-how to be able to guide you. Because sometimes some of the developers, like contractors, instead of following the plan, they will be doing their own thing. And that is the result of some of this building collapse that has been happening. Some of the building collapse have been part of the investigative team, and some of the findings were that the permits that were given to them, they were building a different thing. So you are supposed to use maybe a certain quantum of iron rods. They rather use less. And because of that, the columns were weak. And that is the result of the collapse. Yes, so as citizens, we also have a role to play to help the planning authorities in whatever development that we are doing. Because it is for our own safety that we advise that you need to go for permits. Because when you go for permits and the area is not a place that you have to develop, the committee, the assembly will advise you on that. So that whatever investment that you put in place don't go to waste. Or sometimes you can even die in the process when there is a building collapse. Yeah, so we also have a responsibility to ensure that we seek the advice of the assembly. The advice is free. If you go for advice, that is the reason why they are being paid as an authority.
Right.
So he needs to take that advantage and be able to engage them to help her as a developer.
Okay, so the next one is saying, Mr. Mensah, and I plan to build a large warehouse in the middle of a residential neighborhood. From a spatial planning perspective, would LUSPA permit this, and what factors would guide my decision? He's in Ashaiman.
Yeah, so warehouse is not permitted within a residential neighborhood. The reason is that if you look at how
if they rob him, he'll pack up.
Yeah, so if you look at how residential areas are developed, sometimes the road networks that are in place doesn't support. Because
the
warehouse,
trucks,
yes, the trucks coming in here, so it's an incompatible use. Sometimes this light industrial generates noise and all that. And residential neighborhoods are supposed to be safe spaces. People go to work, they come, they rest. So there's some level of serenity that residents need to enjoy here. So it is not a permissible use within the residential area. So that's why he needs to go to the assembly. Once he gets the land for that particular development, the assembly will now guide him that these are the areas that have been earmarked for light industrial uses, such as warehouses. Yes.
So in that case, for this person, the land he's acquired is in a residential area.
Yes.
So if he goes to the MMDs, if they show the lands that have been demarcated for that, will there be a sort of exchange or something of the sort?
So you can rather use the land for a different purpose, such as maybe commercial.
But here's the case: he wants to build a warehouse. That's his dream
as I'm
or
saying,
something.
it cannot. The assembly will not give him permit to build a warehouse. Even the residents will complain because it is not a permissible use. If it is a permissible use, the assembly will let you. So one of the permissible uses is that a clinic can be within a residential area, because once somebody is sick, he needs to have easy access. A school can be a residential area. Yeah. So those prohibited uses will not be allowed. So that's why I said that when he bought the land, or when he had the intention of that development vision, he should have gone to the assembly that, I have this intention to buy this particular land for this purpose. Will it or would the assembly approve such an application? They would have told you that no. Rather, find a land in this particular area or that area, because according to the plan, that will be there. So for now, I wouldn't want to say he's wasted his resources, but there are several ways that you can still use the land.
Okay. So I have one more controversial question, which is the fact that when the floods started, or when the floods happened, and conversations about evacuating people from some of these areas, these flood-prone areas, they were saying that they also don't have anywhere to go. This is also majorly because of the rural-urban drift. So I think in conversations with my colleagues, we're saying that there are lots of bushes, when you're going to the outskirts of town. Is it not something feasible to probably clear land and try to plan that area and ship all these people there to start life, or to be there for a while, and then develop the areas here in Accra that seem to need planning, and then demarcate the areas that are waterways? Is there not a possibility for something like that, where these people can be relocated somewhere without being sent back to the far areas they came from?
Yeah, so flooding, if we talk about flooding, since 1930, Ghana, Accra has been flooding. So it's a recurrent issue that we'll be discussing every year. So in our plans, all that you are seeing are there. It's because everybody wants to be in the central part of Accra, because the opportunities are here. But if you look at the strategic plan that LUSPA we prepared in 1991, which has been revised in 2024, our National Special Development Framework, what we did was that we tried to create economic opportunities, spread out the economic opportunity to ensure balanced development. If you take the Greater Accra Regional Special Development Framework, which is guiding the development of Greater Accra region, we try to create those economic hotspots specially to balance it, so that there wouldn't be overcrowding within the central part of Accra.
But I think we are still finding some
it's
sort
because that plan is not being implemented. If it is being implemented, because in the plan, we made proposals that government needs to relocate people within those flood hotspot areas into these areas and create other complementary uses. Because if you send people there, they have livelihoods that they are depending on. So we've created spaces where this livelihood can be replicated in these areas to ensure that we don't have overcrowding. It will try to redistribute the population across Greater Accra region to ensure balanced development. So the issues, all the issues that we've been talking about, they are in the plans. The issue is action. The issue is committing resources to ensure that these plans are implemented. So the planning is not a problem, but it is the implementation and the power and the resources to implement them is the issue.
So before coming, someone asked me to ask you that if they go and take one of the Saglemi housing facilities units, will government do anything to them? I mean, they are trying to relocate from a flood-prone area. Yes.
So it's government who has to take the decision. Me as a planner, I cannot take that decision. but I can advise. I can advise the government that looking at that project, and now we can relocate people there. Because we have plans that within the Saklami enclave, we've created certain economic hotspots, some uses there, so that once people are living there, and you see there are certain industries also springing up within that enclave, and there are certain commercial facilities also springing up. So why don't you consolidate all those development gains to ensure that we make use of that space, so that the pressure in Accra, for example, in Accra, we have a plan in place to develop railway, to ensure intercity mobility and even town-to-town mobility. So that when somebody is in Dawa, he can quickly come to Accra within 30 minutes. All those plans are there. We as an authority, we've been presenting these plans. Institutions have it, but the issue is about committing to developing the plan. So it is spatial planning. If we want to develop as a nation, or as a region, or even a district, if you take spatial planning serious, I think we will get somewhere.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. I think I would want to ask for your key takeaway to anybody that's watching. What is the one thing that you would want them to retain from this conversation?
So one thing that I want them to retain is that in Ghana, there's nothing like poor planning. The plans are there. They should demand accountability from the planning authorities.
Okay.
They should ensure that they engage more in civic action to ensure that the planning authorities, the plans that they are prepared, they commit to implementing those plans. And areas that are also not planned, the citizens, they pay taxes, they pay permit fees, they pay property rate. They should demand that accountability and a development action from the district assemblies.
Right.
If the district assemblies are able to solve all these issues, that will cascade to the national picture, because the district assembly makes up the nation. So once these things are done well and spatial planning is taken seriously, I think it will also reflect in the national picture. So these are my key takeaways.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Benedict Arkest. He is the head of plan preparation at the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, and today he came to educate us on planning and settlement. And it seems that there's a lot of misconception that we've had, and we hope to have you back, because there are a lot more questions myself and a lot of Ghanaians have for you, and even maybe we'll get somebody from one of these MMDAs to fully understand how all of these things work. And all too soon, the Koko Digest Morning Show has come to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you bright and early on Tuesday morning. Do have an amazing weekend ahead.